Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Creature Culture podcast. We are in the isolation room with Locke and
Haley. Hello, welcome back.
And today we were actually talking about layoffs and furloughs regarding pet store employees. We have some other, it's mostly pet store employees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what's mostly been hit hardest. I know all pet businesses are technically considered essential, but most of the stores, they don't need as many employees now because they're, going to curbside. So there's laying off and furloughing a lot of regular employees because they usually have quite a large staff at these types of stores.
Yeah, so we asked you guys to send in your stories about your circumstances and your story. We had a few prompt questions just so that we can get as many details as we can. We have a few larger stories that we'll hit first, and then we'll get into some stories that we saw regarding furlough and layoffs and unfortunate things during the pandemic on social media. So we do have our first story here.
Yeah, and just for privacy and anonymity, we aren't going to name any of the businesses in question. So we're just going to refer to them as like an independent pet store or large chain retailer A or large chain retailer B. You can kind of, I guess, interpret what you will. All right, so the first story we're going to start with is from a worker in an independent pet store in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So we'll start off here. I had only been at the company I was laid off from for about a month and a half before I got laid off. My boyfriend got me the job working maintenance in the fish section for a pet store wholesaler. So we deal with pets and feeders, and I'm responsible for some of the maintenance of the fish department, such as feeding, meds, and water changes and checking quality. I'd like to keep the company's name private because I don't want to step on any toes. I very much respect the people that I work for. I'd like to start with I wasn't the first person that was laid off. I was actually one of the last ones to get laid off. All the morning order pickers were laid off first. The problem was I was not making the full-time hours I needed because being a wholesaler, we rely on international shipments to keep our animals in stock. We are essentially a halfway point from the farms to the pet stores. With 90% of our fish coming from other countries, the amount of fish in stock and orders going to stores was reasonably dwindling because of the border shutdowns. I sat down with my manager because of the inconsistency of the hours and the fact I had just moved to a new city. He figured the best thing to do would be to lay me off. I had the next 2 days off after that conversation and woke up to a text from my manager asking him to call me, and you can just tell he hated that he had to, but he said to me the best decision was to lay me off so I could claim CERB, which is the name of Canadian Financial Assistance for COVID, while this was happening. Because I work for a growing company and people have tons of experience in this, they understand that without good staff, things just don't work. It's one of the first jobs I've ever had where I actually felt valued as an employee and recognized for the work I put in, even though I only made $15 an hour. We all knew this was coming. The entire staff was sat down about a week and a half before the shutdown and was told that things were going to get weird if the borders closed. Fast forward, it got weird, but pretty much everyone expected it. I'm also pretty sure that's the only staff meeting I've been to as an adult. All in all, I think they handled it the best they could. I remember going in after I got laid off and my manager saw me, and by the tone of his voice and his body language, you could tell that he was upset and it sucked without his whole staff. I'm sure it's pretty rough for them there right now, trying the best they can without the bulk of their staff there to help. I'm one of the lucky ones in this pandemic, though, because I still have a job once this is over. They made sure to tell everyone that the layoff was not permanent job loss and that once things were picked up, we'd all get hired back. I guess you can't truly replace a team that loves their jobs and work well together. And then this end part that said, feel free to leave out or include it. Well, except for Rat Snitch Francois, the good time ruiner. So there's some juicy tea at the end.
Okay.
Mr. That Francois. Okay.
Oh, right. Yeah. So that's our first story. And this is specific. Yeah, this is specific to a smaller independent store.
Yeah, it's like, well, it says wholesaler. So it's kind of an independent business. So not quite a pet store, but they sell to pet stores.
Yeah.
So that is kind of a really interesting perspective, like especially how They just didn't have the work because of the borders being shut down. They didn't have access to their stock of imported fish.
Mm-hmm. So it's,
Yeah.
I guess maybe that's a benefit to not being a huge store with so much staff, is that communication might be a lot easier. I don't know, I guess like it's understandable because you have more people in the same boat.
Yeah. And they were offered to come back afterwards. It wasn't like a full layoff. It was more of just a furlough, I guess. Because they were offered to come back afterwards. And also, it's true what is mentioned up here about applying for the financial assistance. They probably ended up making more from the financial assistance than they would with the inconsistent hours that they were getting already. Yeah. So maybe like, because the manager kind of put thought into that, and I think maybe they came to that conclusion as well. So this does sound like a very positive experience, of like not super positive obviously, but kind of the best way it could have worked out.
Yeah. And just for context, the CERB was it $2,000 per month, or was that something else?
Well, I think that was like what they give you first off. They just give you $2,000, and then you have to put in your earning statements, and then they would detract what they need, or like what they gave you that was too much. And then I feel like I'm probably explaining it badly, but you just kind of have to give your earning statements of how much you made, and then they'll kind of if you make under, I think, $1,000 or $2,000 a week or something. No, I think it's $1,000 a week, you get the assistance. So that's how things are working for us right now in Canada.
Yeah.
But so, we're going to go to America in the next story here.
Yeah, so we do have another, these ones will be a little bit longer because there's a lot more context to it, as these ones were not so impressed with the situations.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to call this chain pet store A, just to leave out any names and issues regarding that. So this one's located in Colorado, USA. I don't know where Colorado is. I'm so sorry, Americans.
I think it's snowy.
Snowy?
It's like a colder one. It's one of the colder ones.
All right, it's closer. It's a little closer to us. Okay.
I think there's a lot of skiing.
Oh, okay.
And there's mountains.
Are you referring to the Vine?
No.
Colorado Vine? Okay, no. Okay. It's a ski Vine. Okay, that's fine.
Oh, okay. I think
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's get into this. So this girl, or I forget, this person had said, I work for a redacted, we're not going to put it in the name, blank grooming salon in the United States. While things were always a bit rocky, this pandemic made things even rockier. It started with Company A offering its employees 5 extra paid days. They called it COVID pay. So this already is a completely different offering that we've seen from other stories.
Yeah.
If we wanted to self-isolate, we were welcome to use those paid days. They also said we could use any of our vacation time and go up to 40 hours, and it would just be taken out of next year's vacation time. It sounded amazing to me. It was how they handled the situation, as another store had already begun with their furlough processes. Okay. I've been with the company for 3 years now, and I've been the only groomer to stay throughout that time out of 11 groomers who came and went. However, I did leave for about 2 to 3 months and wound up returning back to the company she now works for. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't get vacation pay like the new hires. I am a rehire, so I don't get any vacation pay for an entire year. How does that make sense? So without being told any of this, I took my COVID pay and minus 40 hours for the vacation time. I just threw away all my vacation pay that I should get next year, because at that time, nobody knew how much about the virus, except that it was extremely contagious and I am she's at high risk of catching it due to being pregnant.
Oh no.
So I took roughly 3 weeks off. I thought that I had 1 week available of vacation plus 2 weeks after 90 days, like the new hires get. 90 days after the new hires get. Well, I found out that was not the case. I got back to work and spent 3 days deep cleaning the salon, alone, might I add. I'm the only groomer. And on day 3, my store leader called myself and 2 others into the salon for a conference call. I knew this was not going to end well. The district leader read off a script. Basically, all I heard was blah, 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 blah. Can I go eat lunch now? He didn't really seem to care much. But why would he? His salary and job title is safe. Ooh. Eventually, he got to the point and placed us all on furlough for an unknown amount of time, 4 to 8 weeks, but it could be more, is what they said. Our store leader was extremely empathetic and caring about the situation. He even tried to find ways around the furlough to no avail. Shit. We were to receive information in the mail regarding, in regards to the furlough and everything we needed to know. It's been about a month and I've received nothing.
Oh, wow.
Jesus.
This is pretty bad.
And we still got some more details here.
Mm-hmm.
What really gets me is that I'm sure this was a topic of discussion. So why would they let people take their vacation pay only to return and find out that they were basically on unpaid LOA, so leave of absence? Not only that, but many other companies had already begun the furlough process. So now we're last in line to get in line for unemployment. Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you think about it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My vacation and COVID-19 pay was my hourly rate, which is much less than what I make through my commission and tips. So for my pay for 3 weeks, which really turned out to be only 2 weeks, was roughly half of what I'm used to seeing in 2 weeks. And
Oh,
now
yeah.
this
They're a
is
groomer. Like,
this is
they
not
make
looking great.
so much on the commission.
Commission, tips, yeah.
Yeah.
I've now gone another month without any income because I'm waiting on unemployment to kick in. Throughout this furlough, communication has been pretty much non-existent. The other location salon nearest to me is back in business, but despite asking several times, they won't let me temporarily work there until my salon is up again, even though they're still technically understaffed and would take me. I don't understand why they wouldn't let me work there for a few days or weeks and earn a living. I've had clients I've had clients day in and day out wondering when I'm going to be back to work, begging me to work under the table for them, possibly going to other places, all because their company will let them work at another location temporarily. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
There's still more, guys. More details. Yeah. So I feel like I've done so much for the company, but all I ever hear is no. Yet I see other people getting what they want left and right. It's those that they should value who get the short end of the stick. It's ridiculous. I was denied transfer for a year before I decided to try leaving and wound up returning, and even now I won't get any leeway. I'd like one good reason why I shouldn't be allowed to work at the other locations that's open and running, despite the fact that I'm pregnant and on weight restriction. The only groomer at their location and would refuse to let me transfer even temporarily because there's going to be people around to help. I don't think they realize how dangerous it is to work with live animals alone in any capacity, let alone as a pregnant woman. Still no word on when I go back to work. It's currently May 4th and I was furloughed mid-April. Some speculate it should be only another week, but others seem to have no answer to that question. This is going to leave me with only a couple more visits from some clients before I go on maternity leave this year, which is really frustrating for me and I'm sure for my clients as well. This was my time to really make some good money and be able to afford my doctor appointments. Oh yeah, I forgot they're American.
Mm-hmm.
This is a huge detail, to afford their doctor appointments and things I'll need for my baby. My husband and I had plans for this year for the house that would have been completed by now, and had I not been placed on furlough. I understand that the state dictated who would and how they can operate and who couldn't, but I'm really disappointed in how they went about it and handling it. There are better ways. Anyways, that is my story. I'm sticking to it. I should probably mention that during my few weeks off, they gave groomers the option to work on the floor if they felt safer doing so, but that was stopped by furlough. I do like my company as a whole, but I'm very disappointed how my district specifically has lacked in communication and common sense. And that's where their story ends.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So there's a lot to unpack here. Okay. So you have a pregnant groomer.
Yeah. First of all, I think the first off thing is a pregnant person having to work in the middle of a pandemic to pay for their doctor's appointments is just
That's crazy. And groomers in general already have back issues. Any hair salon, stylist, groomers especially, like they lift some heavy dogs. They're going through a lot of shit.
Yeah, it's a risk without the COVID.
Yeah. So not only that, and they're still seeing dogs. As far as we know now, the information we're getting that's updated is that dogs can be transferring COVID to other people. So that's not good either. And the one thing that struck out to me, she said she's working alone. When as far as I know, for my experience and my company and my specifications with that, you're not allowed to be in the salon working alone.
No,
because of all the dangers.
As far as I know, because like even if you just look at like weight, like how to properly lift things, most dogs over a certain weight would require 2 people to lift. That's just how it is for safety purposes. You don't want people to throw their backs out, just like how other things like large fish tanks and stuff require 2 people to lift. Bigger dogs require more than 1 person.
Yeah, that to me is crazy. And so a big issue that she's seeing right now is the detail that she had left for a bit and then came back, but they were considering her a new hire. Or a rehire. Yeah. And so she wasn't getting the vacation pay that she saw other people get and wasn't getting treated like a veteran almost there.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. That it should like take into account how long you've worked for the company in general, not like whether or not you've taken breaks or switched locations. Otherwise, what's really the point of sticking with a company if like the years don't matter at all?
Yeah. So anything. Loyalty aside, when it comes to her communication and in our description from our introduction to the series, one of my questions was, how well was the communication between you and your staff, your corporate higher ups, like everybody? What was the communication like? And she's saying it's pretty shit. So her district leader read off a script and basically was just worried about like, is this over? Can I go and eat lunch now?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like the communication was good at all on this one.
Yeah, she didn't specify specifically like there are other like managers like that other than her store leader being a bit more empathetic.
Yeah. It seems more like obviously like the corporate and district people were there wasn't a human aspect to it because they don't know the people personally. Like the managers, they work with you every day, they do know you. So I think it's kind of a common trend is the managers who work more directly with the employees showing more empathy. That's probably not like a groundbreaking thing, but it's definitely one thing that's interesting
too is that she was denied to be able to work at another location.
Yeah.
To me, that's not super shocking. So if they have like, you don't know the others, this is me making assumptions, but you don't know the other stores' employees' loyalty either. You could have a groomer there that's been there for 8 years. You know what I mean? Like, so they're not going to replace it with another person.
Yeah.
But if there was no communication on that either. That's fine. And the other thing about them being, they're clearly understaffed. Everyone's understaffed right now.
Yeah, there's not enough staff in the world.
Right now, that makes sense. That it might look also, like, they fucking need it. So why can't I just go out and help them? Well, if they're understaffed, they can't afford to hire you.
And also a lot of, just because of like COVID, a lot of places aren't bringing in new people. Just to try and keep the group of people working together as small as possible. Some businesses obviously are hiring, not all, that doesn't go for everything, but a lot of them have stopped hiring. So that like places have stopped taking on volunteers, even though they need them, but just to try and keep things more contained and not introduce anything new. Also, another point up here is how like they just started with like COVID pay. They didn't really go to full furlough until it seems quite late, and then they couldn't get the unemployment, they were like last in line for it. That's just kind of showing they weren't looking out for their employees' best interests. Because they should have been trying to get basically as much support for their employees as fast as possible. I think that should have been their main concern.
One thing I do like though that they gave them the option to work on the floor.
Yeah.
I've seen similar where groomers were given at least a few shifts to work on the floor to help out, and actually just to, like what she was saying, deep clean too. She had to deep clean the salon. And but the only thing though is that even if as much as she was offered to work on the floor, that was stopped by furlough.
Yeah.
So it doesn't help her out at all. So she's disappointed in the district rather than like
the specific
team.
like store. Yeah.
She's like, I'm very disappointed in my district and how they lacked communication and common sense. Yeah, that's really that's all really shitty because of being rehired. We don't know much about the rehire situation, so we don't get much more in depth about if it was specifically targeted, right? We'll get into a little bit more with that with some other stories, but just the pregnancy thing in general.
Yeah, that one was sad. I hope everything works out for that person.
Right. I hope they finally got their unemployment stuff.
I know. I get that they want to see their clients and everything like that, but I feel like in the middle of a pandemic, a pregnant person shouldn't have to work at all. Like,
exactly.
You should be either the company or the state should be paying you to stay at home and keep yourself safe. Basically, you shouldn't have to be working to pay.
Yeah, if you got like seniors working,
I know that doesn't. I know that doesn't really help. Like the person in that situation who's like, well, I need to work because I need to like make money for my doctor's appointments and just living. I get that. I get that you do need to work, but I'm saying in general, the support should be there. It's not directed at this person specifically, because I understand like you need to make the money, but in a perfect world, you shouldn't have to. Like our vulnerable people shouldn't be on the front lines during a pandemic.
Exactly. So that's unfortunate. We do have another story too that Haley would introduce. From Colorado.
This one's kind of like a comparison to the one before because they're both from the same state, and they're both like large competitive chain stores. So we're going to refer to this one as Company B or Chain Store B. So large chain pet store, same state. So let's go in and see how this competitor kind of handled the situation. All right. My name is Hazel and I work for Company B in Colorado. I've been with this specific location for 2 years, but I've worked for the company as a whole for 8. Today, May 3rd, is actually my 8-year anniversary. Yay for me, right? I'd say the quality of communication was given to us the best of our store leader's ability. He did his best for what he was given, and I appreciate him greatly for his hard work and care in all of this mess. But as for the company, information was all over the place before we got put on furlough. The last week we worked in the salon. Changes were made left and right within matters of hours. One day it was, these are our new hours. So then we had to call a bunch of people to rearrange them. Then the next day, the following hours changed again. And while we worked on everyone, groomer and client schedules for a few hours, it changed to never mind, we are closed as of today after all your shifts. So after all of this stressful fumbling, we again had to reach out to our clients for a third time to say, never mind, we'll call you when we reopen, without any proper or professional information to really give them, just that we are expected to reopen in only 2 weeks. At this time, we could either use our personally worked for and saved up PTO or work on the sales floor for our hourly wage, which is about, if not less than, half of our average made commission rate. So just like that, we all faced a dramatic change of income that we had no prep or warning for. I personally chose to take the first week off and use my sick time. This way I got my average groom pay instead of the really low hourly wage. I decided I would work the second week on the floor. The night before my second shift, I got a call asking if I could come in at 9 a.m. for a meeting to go over things in the salon in regards to reopening. Since it was a week away, that made sense. But I was wrong. A few of us showed up and it was a meeting in regards to furlough. We could no longer work on the floor or use PTO. We could apply for unemployment. Again, the store leader did his best with all the mess he had thrown at him. He was compassionate and apologetic over the company's decision. About a week or so later, I received an email from the company that was a "you are being put on furlough" email. A little behind schedule on their part, you think? I've already been on it for over a week, but thanks for the official letter. No.
Okay,
Take
so
over because this
let's
one's
take a little break to break down a
continues.
little bit. So that companies being late on their their announcements that's nothing new. That's any big corporate company.
Yeah.
So she has a lot going on already, but she gave us a lot more details. So we got like a whole part 2 of this story. So let me continue off with it. The only offer given was that we could apply for unemployment, which wasn't the option for some of us. Oh, and they covered our benefits billing if we had insurance for them, which I've recently found out that they took away our management's raises that they had just gotten in order to do so. Okay, whoa, mic drop right there. Shit. So the company wasn't even the one helping with that. They took pay from our leaders instead of financially helping the essential leaders. They took more away from them. Luckily, I was able to get unemployment, but that was a whole stress on its own. My boyfriend is also an employee with the same company, but his hours were cut dramatically and not able to sell classes as he's a dog trainer. After applying for unemployment, it took 2 weeks before I got an update, while others were getting their info in just 24 hours after applying. I was worried I got denied for whatever reason or did something wrong. And it's not like you can just get through to them for calling or anything. I think a lot of things were handled very well for what we do. Our jobs involve a lot of communication to do a lot of different types of customers. A lot not handling last minute changes to their own personal schedule very well, and very quick to project those feelings harshly without realizing I have literally zero control over the situation and have zero part of this decision. So there was a lot of verbal abuse from customers from this as well. And without us having proper communication or information to give them, because we didn't even have our own in regards to our schedule and our job. So it made us not confident or prepared for these difficult conversations with several customers. I am back at work now. Today is my 3rd day, and we're kind of just tossed in. We came in Friday morning, went over some printed sheets of the restrictions, procedures, and rules with no answers explaining to customers as to why it is that way. Or why we can't do this. Why, even though we are open, we can't take their dog. We have all these procedures that hardly make sense to us, and we're having to explain it to already angry and frustrated customers. They have been feeling this way about their dog groom for weeks, and we finally come back to say, I don't have an answer to that. I don't want to say things were handled terribly, but I don't think they were handled well either, because it's not like we faced something like this severe. So who am I to judge if they did good or bad, you know? And that was her final comment on her story. So kind of went all over the place with the feelings.
That was long. All right, so I'm going to scroll back up to the top now so we can kind of go over things. So we got the comparison of this company and its competitor. It seems, all right, so it seems like their communication was kind of spotty for the both of them.
Yeah, this person had a better communication with their store. At least this is what they didn't get super much details in the first story, but this second story, they said within their staff, they got more communication. But still, everything's coming from higher up with the issues.
Yeah, because this one seemed more personal, like they left the managers to kind of break the news instead of having the big corporate just like read a script to them.
Exactly.
I mean, I guess you could look at that both ways. Like either you can feel like they're putting the pressure on the managers to break the news, which is stressful for them, or you can also look at it as it's more humanizing and better to hear bad news from someone you know than just some stranger on a screen.
That's true. Yeah.
And
I do like that they had empathy for the store leaders and things that the management, like, you know, they were like, oh, you know what, I love that this is happening, but they took away their raises in order to do so.
Whereas, like, I mean,
which
like
I don't know how I feel about so much, because
Yeah,
I don't know if I like that she has the empathy for there. I don't know if it's super necessary to be that much into it when it comes to like,
yeah,
shit, this is
but
shitty, this is shitty.
you can also compare, I guess, like, they probably had the choice, like, they could take away the salaries of the managers working in all the stores, or they could take away the bonus for like the guy in the corporate office who makes like $2 billion a year or
Exactly.
whatever. So they
Exactly.
could, so there is like other ways. Like, it's not like, I mean, like a manager getting a raise taken away, it like sucks, but they're still making money. Or, but I
Exactly. They're still
mean,
making a higher amount than any of the
yeah,
workers
yeah,
below them.
yeah. But then again, you could look at it as they are just people trying to make a wage, and they could have
Exactly.
taken
We don't
that
know
money
we
from
don't know their
someone who makes
circumstances.
more. Yeah, because I mean, even despite their circumstance, they're still not making as much as like the corporate guy reading a script and
And
wanting his
they're
lunch.
getting, let me just give a nice good prayer out there for the managers dealing with all this shit, especially the ones that are breaking the news to everybody, making the tough phone calls, and they probably
Yeah,
don't have as many answers either. Like,
I
it's
know. Yeah, because
very
that's kind of
frustrating.
a reoccurring theme in this one here too, is that they just don't know. Like, they just don't have information to give the customers. The managers just don't have information to give them, and that's kind of like a universal thing we're all feeling now because everything's so up in the air. Like, we don't know when this will end. And
Like, yeah,
like
so
yeah,
I get that. Like, if we're to still have open and then not be able to answer your customers, that's everyone's doing that right now. It's annoying. It's frustrating. I understand the frustration from the customers,
yeah. I understand
but
all the frustrations,
I understand the
everyone's
frustration,
frustration.
but also it should be common sense that we're all lost.
We are all lost, but
Yeah. And also I do like that they ended it with, who am I to say if they handled it well or not? I do want to talk about that after, of like, just, should we be prepared for stuff like this? And
yeah,
how, like, people are not offering what they would have done differently because
it's hard
we
to
don't know.
know.
How
Yeah,
would you have done it differently? We don't know because this is a
yeah.
situation we've been in.
Like, it's hard to know, like, with regard to specifics, but I feel like in general, the sense of what people just want is support and like some kind of outline, because like people are needing something in this crisis, like, to hold on to. So I feel like even if whether the stores kind of guided you into how to apply for like unemployment, kind of assisted with that, because I know it can be difficult. Like, I mean, we'll get into my kind of experience with it later, but like the phone lines aren't working to call for help. Like this person mentioned, like, I guess it's kind of a universal thing in both countries, because I've tried to call customer service lines and like they don't work a lot of the time. So I think just helping somehow like that, either the store has a fund of like emergency assistance money to like pay out to people, or they help guide you to a state government run service that can help you and kind of make that transition easier. But there just needs to be some way to support that transition.
I agree. Like, the big issue, like, regardless if everybody's just like, well, that fucking sucks, people would not be so upset if there was communication with it. Warnings.
Yeah.
As many warnings, and it should be like, and it should be proper communication too. I don't want a letter a month from now saying
Yeah.
what's up. Like, I need stuff right away. It should be through email. It should be printed immediately. Just as signs are printed up for the store, we should be able to have our own answer from corporate and from our leaders too. Like, it should be their responsibility to handle that up in
Yeah.
corporate world. Yeah, so that's unfortunate. It's understandable. It sucks. It really sucks. These people's situations too. Like, they need to really scramble and figure shit out when they don't have any answers either. So
Yeah.
these had a lot of details. If you look on some social media too, I guarantee there's a bunch of people within different communities asking what's up, or if people have had the same experiences. So we do got some similar experiences. We have a few different posts. I'll read off a first one. So we got one at company A that was a groomer. And so they had said that they've been furloughed at with their company. Originally, they were supposed to go back May 15th, but so far they haven't heard anything about being reported back. Is anyone went back? Did they contact you? Did you show up on the day? And they are in central PA for context wise. So there's no communication with them about when they're going back to work. That's pretty bad.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's really bad.
Yeah. To give them a date, then just like not say anything.
Yeah. Or like, am
don't
I
even
going
give you
in? Am I
time.
just showing up? That's
Mm-hmm.
that. There's a few comments of people saying that they got an email, and then it was for them to take week by week to cancel appointments for different things. A person also in Pittsburgh, they haven't heard anything yet, but they said keep waiting because they'll expect to change soon. That's not.
I know, like an
That's not
email
reliable.
doesn't even seem like good enough. Like you should call or something.
Yeah, that's really, I don't know, for that company, that area. I know it's different with every state and probably every
Yeah.
store too,
Yeah.
and district, but that's bad. Your employees should know when to come back into work.
I know. I love that. Do you just show up on the day?
Is it pushed back? They have no idea. They're lost.
Mm-hmm. All right, so here's another one. Another post. This is for company B again, I guess. Has anyone here been furloughed and applied for unemployment? How long did it take you to get approved or get money? Do you have to resubmit claims every week? Is it extra $600 a week a real thing? I'm a groomer with company B and I have the option to be furloughed. My boyfriend's already on it and I applied for unemployment this week. I have asthma and a 1-year-old, so since this is getting a lot worse and closer to home, I want to take time off. I need to make sure I can support my family and half my usual check won't cut it. My boyfriend's brother-in-law's mom and brother were just hospitalized with pneumonia and we found out that they have COVID. My boyfriend sees his brother-in-law every week or 2 weeks and brother-in-law sees his mom regularly, so it's a straight shot to us and I am not okay. Yay for anxiety. I'm thinking about stopping work on the 4th, so I have all of May for unemployment to come through just to make sure I have rent, but I just don't know. And when I panic and make a decision, I usually make the wrong one. And then this person replies and says, I can't get a hold of unemployment in my state right now. I was put on furlough. I knew it was going to happen a week before, so I put in for it and got a letter saying I was good to go. I'll get my first check next week for unemployment, and I'm hoping the $600 is added. It was really easy to do. I just used my phone. I felt like it was better for me than to have fewer hours because I'm a trainer. It depends on your state. I'm in New York and it took about a month to get unemployment. The $600 is every 2 weeks and it's like $540 after tax. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know where this first person is from, but that is terrifying that everyone around them has COVID. And yeah, what do you think, Locke?
That's I don't think I can say, I have nothing really to add to the situation when it comes to advice or what I would do or whatever. Yeah, like high anxiety, that's definitely a fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's intense and stressful.
Yeah,
That's going really specific to their state, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I think
that's shitty. I'm sorry for people that are like
and they
see
have
the next state
asthma
over
too.
that are
They have
getting
asthma
everything
too.
properly.
I feel like because they have asthma and everything. Actually, I guess their main question here is whether like they should go on furlough or remain as a groomer. I guess I don't know if their grooming salon would be remaining open. But yeah, I think in their situation, I would say go on the unemployment because they have
Absolutely.
asthma, they have kids. Like it just seems like a situation where, I mean, I understand that like because you're a groomer again, you're going to take a cut in pay from like commission and everything like that. But for your own safety, I feel like this person, they kind of have to pick to go on unemployment.
Mm-hmm. So I guess too, if they're asking these questions, they didn't get any help from their company to see like if it's real. Is this money like a real
Yeah,
thing?
there's no guidance from like the company at all. Like they should let people know all their options in full. They can be like, so this is how it's going to work if you go for this. Here's like an information package on these are the steps. This is what you're going to be getting. Or if you choose to remain working, this is how it's going to go. Like the company is like, I know everything's up in the air, but they should know at least that much to be able to give like 2 options.
And I'm sorry for whatever your state you're working in at that, but it should be a general rule of thumb right now is that if you believe you've had contact with anyone, if you're worried about your own contact, if you have asthma, some respiratory issues already, and at that, like if you can get a hold of like your unemployment and another way of getting any income, this is the time to really put that seriously. And I would say, yeah, just apply for unemployment, don't go to work. And especially if you're having anxiety about all of this too, about who you're coming into contact with, it's really stressful on everybody else too when you do that. And you really don't want to be the reason for anybody else's issue when it comes to them possibly contracting the virus or anything. Like that's scary. Like take care of yourself. If you are in a situation where even if you don't know what's up, make some phone calls, do a little bit of research online. I would put your safety and your health first.
Yeah.
Geez, that one's a little bit more intense. Let's see the next post here. This one says, was really upset with company B. I got a call today because of COVID. I have been permanently laid off. I have been with them for 8 years. Opened up that location was, Opened up that location was only person still there from the beginning. Okay. Oh, okay. So they've been there for 8 years and they started with that location when they opened. Oh shit.
Okay.
Yeah. They're mailing my belongings from my locker to me. Will miss all my friends.
Yeah,
made
that's
from
cold.
the customers. Don't understand things, but life goes on. So 8 years with the company.
Yeah, and getting their stuff mailed to them. That is.
So they can't even go and pick it up or at the door, like a curbside drop off.
I know you can't do a curbside pickup for your own things.
No, we'll get it mailed to you.
No.
Jeez. Okay. So yeah, that was, which one did they say what they were?
No, they're company B. Company B.
Yeah, but they didn't say their position. They didn't say where.
Right? No, they said no. 8 years.
No, they just said but 8 years regardless. That's 8 years left. We work in industries. 8 years is a long fucking time.
It is.
Okay, and there's comments under there saying, like, just in regards to what she had just posted, said, not sure if this helps anything, but stores have no say in who got laid off and who is kept. And then they were told directly to not speak to associates yet. After I'd spoken to one of mine, I cried and grieved for my team as I wrote schedules without them on, collected unemployment and reapply. Oh, wait, sorry. She's telling them to collect unemployment and then reapply when it's over, but know your SL and ASL, which is your store leader and assistant store leader, literally had no say in the matter. So that's one comment to be like, I know it's shitty and it's not, just know it's not targeted. They have no say in it. That's what this person's comment is. But another person had comment completely different. So company B is absolute trash. They are horrible to their employees. I am so sorry you have to go through this. I wish the best of luck, and I know you will find something bigger and better. Another comment said, the company has no loyalty toward their employees. Then when they do rehire, they can do it at a lower pay rate. I truly believe that they want to get rid of longtime employees who remember that the store really used to stand for and its mission statement. That's a statement right there that has, first of all, I don't know if that has any truth to it when it comes to that they can, like, I don't have any evidence on that they can pay at a lower rate and that they're trying to get rid, like, that's a huge ass opinion. I don't know if that's definitely not a
I don't know if it's true.
That's definitely not a fact.
I think it's just this person's like what they're thinking their mindset behind it is. The person did mention in the other story that they were considered a rehire and then they didn't get vacation hours.
Oh yeah, that's
so that could be what this person is hinting at, because like when you do rehire, you're considered a rehire. So all your history with the company is gone and you're considered a new employee basically. So like
that's fucked up.
Maybe they're implying people might not get the same pay they were making before. Again, like this person doesn't work, or like they're not in, I'm assuming not in like the corporate cloud. They don't control things, but I think that's what they're getting at here, is that they want to hire people back for a lower
their
pay.
Statement was like they're targeting old employees that have been there for a while because they think it's to get rid of people who know
Who are
better.
or people who are making more money, because once you work somewhere for a long time, you have to be given a certain amount of raises.
Yes, that's
I
true
think like
too.
every 4 years. So people who are working there longer will be making more money than the people who would be the newer employees. So I
Yeah.
think they're trying to explain the way of thinking they went around. Like, we don't know, obviously, what their mindset was, whether it was random,
Yeah, that's true too. I'm gonna put my
or they
opinion
went
in
by
this.
pay grade.
Yeah, and my opinion on that comment is this is a pandemic right now. I don't think they can be that nitpicky, and when, like, if they were to fire people just because maybe their stores needs to close down or they need to they need they got cut a lot of hours or this and that, sure, you can put in your conspiracy theories when it comes to that, but this is a pandemic. I don't think it's that deep right now. I don't think it's many options they have. Yeah, and I'm gonna assume
Yeah.
that the person that did, even though it's 8 years, I'm gonna assume that they were there for a while, but maybe not cross-trained and didn't have good availability.
Yeah,
Or
that's
had
possible.
yeah, so I think that's when the corporate comes in and said the first comment that said, it's not targeted. Do you want to read the other comments on it?
Sure. All right. Is that okay? So this is a new comment. I'm saying the people still there, they need to unionize as soon as possible. Y'all can take this company by the balls right now. It seems like everyone that's getting laid off is either older than the typical PetSmart associate or has something going on, such as they're pregnant or about to have surgery. There's nothing random about these layoffs. If I were each of you, I would definitely say something. It's illegal what they are doing to y'all.
And so this little comment under it was a comment about that comment. It was a reply. And they said, you know why, right? The long timers have more benefits. Pregnant ones will be using their short-term disability and maybe adding another person to the cost of insurance they're paying during furlough. Okay, so I understand, like, if you are immunocompromised or at that, like, and you've made that clear, and let's say you went and quarantined yourself and then returned back to work afterwards, and now you're getting laid off, right? That makes sense to me. Like, even if you have been there 15 years, if you're immune compromised, like, this is not, that's too risky. That's way too risky. Or if you're pregnant, like I said, no, if we had our opinion on pregnancy before, like, really, it's really not ideal for you to be working right now.
Yeah.
What else did they say? Oh, this person's story was that their friend got laid off after 19 years.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I don't care at that point. 19 years? Whoa.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
They also said company B sucks. They basically fired me for being pregnant, but they did it in a roundabout way where I couldn't sue them for it. If this is like a few months pregnancy, that makes sense. Like, to be pissed about it.
Yeah.
I was fired while I was on maternity leave. They denied unemployment because they said they would hire me back. Okay, well, at least they would hire back. Okay. And we have another post here, Haley. Do you want to read the last one?
No, but they said they were denied unemployment, though, so they couldn't even get unemployment. Yeah, they were denied unemployment because they said they would hire her back, so she couldn't even get the
because they're on
unemployment.
maternity leave. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, that just, sorry, it just registered. Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Oh, yeah, what do you do?
I know. It looks like, God, that's a horrible situation.
I would be making every call to, well, for Canadians, it's the Canadian Revenue Agency, so CRA is who I would contact. I'd be on the phone for hours, be like, I know this is the situation, but someone fucking help me.
Jeez. Okay. All right. So this next one. All right. I'm a groomer. I got a call today saying they want me back, but I don't feel comfortable. But if I don't feel comfortable, then I can stay on furlough. But I'm in a hot spot, so I decline going back. But others have said they were told there may not be a spot for them in the future if they stay on furlough. So that person, I think they mean by a hot spot, they're like, there's a lot of cases of COVID where they are, so they
they're probably
didn't
in like
want
New
to
York.
expose themselves. Yeah. So they're saying here, people are getting told there may not be a place for them if they decide to stay on furlough. So I guess they're implying there's discrimination for people who are choosing to stay on furlough instead of going back to work.
Oh, that's shit. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna save this really long post for last. I'll
Yeah.
go on to a little smaller one. So this post said, anyone permanently laid off of company B, know if they're getting paid for vacation hours that were earned. I asked them to use last week before they were Oh shit. Okay, I asked them to use the last week before they were terminated and was told it was up to corporate. And the comments under that said, if they terminate you, they don't have to give it to you. But I know that some people have gotten it. Just harass them until they do it. Wow. Okay. And then another person commented on that saying, I was laid off and got unused vacation paid out in my sick time also. I was having to fight. Another person said they had to fight to get theirs. So they're supposed to being paid during their leave of absence and wasn't. So they're not getting even communication about their vacation hours then, because this is a post asking about other people. So they were not told about what's happening with their vacation hours. Right? That they said it was up to corporate. Yeah. So I understand the harass them until they give it to you.
I think they're supposed to give it to you. After
they're supposed to give it to you, and otherwise, no, they give it to you. That's bullshit if they're not giving it to you.
And this is just saying, I feel like this type of stuff, like people really need to know, and I feel like it shouldn't really be entirely a responsibility like on the person to go seek it out themselves, but people really need to know their rights and responsibilities with that kind of stuff.
I agree with the harassment. I agree with it.
Yeah, I'm not great like knowing things clearly right now, but like we really all of us collectively need to get more educated on our rights at work, I think, so we can know, because I think like some of these things are illegal. Like,
I want to say though, don't harass. Absolutely, yeah. Don't actually harass. I don't mean that, but like, yes,
not
look
like
into it. Don't stop.
Just like be persistent with it. Don't wait outside their house.
You work if you work at this company, if you're a better person on the phone, you're more likely to get a better help. So, all right, we got. I saw a funny meme posted on Facebook about someone that got laid off on Tuesday, so a week before, right? And they received a week after a mail posted that was about their company's auto insurance and how they can help out as like promoting it.
Oh my god!
You're like, oh, thanks. I just got laid off Tuesday. That's great. Thank you.
That's cool. Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah. I'm glad to see this is what mail is priority. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is another
the worst would be if the mail was like sealed, like they licked the envelope with like COVID spit.
Oh my gosh.
Like the ultimate insult.
You'd have to quarantine your mail, burn it.
Yeah.
All right. So, and just for context of people that were laid off, someone asked like, hey, is it just cashiers or people that were laid off, not furloughed, but laid off? So some people were saying pet care, and a lot of people are saying like the people that aren't cross-trained are most likely to get laid off. And so cross-trained means that you're able to work in different departments because you've been there for a while. So you know a little bit more about where this stuff is. Some people are saying that in the animal department, they were laid off, or some people are saying that they were cross-trained in the animal department, stock, and as a cashier, and they were still laid off. So we don't have context on that, but like I said, I assume it's because possible, compromise, maybe because your availability isn't good.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of pet care people like were laid off just because they don't need as many people in that department now. It's just basically going into like feed and clean.
Yeah, it's
and
true.
Then go, like you don't really need someone in there like all day or anything like that. So I feel like definitely the people who are staying on is more just customer service, because at my store the one department manager is doing all the care for the live animals. There's no one else. It's just him doing it every day, because everyone else has been gone to like do the curbside pickup and stuff like that. So
okay, and then we have our last long post here that we want to just skim over a little bit. This is basically was screenshots. Haley, you have the link to it, right?
Yeah, let me just check.
Yeah. So a company had posted on their personal social, not their, sorry, their company's social media account, And because of, of what's happening right now, there was plenty of comments about some either, I guess, like ex-employees or maybe friends of people that know about the situations, or maybe just customers are upset, and some of them are just random people too. So it's a mixture of a bunch of different people. I'll go through one of the first rows here. One person said, "When will you guys start doing exchanges in the store?" That's a customer. I was excited to get this new leash, and then they got denied. Yeah, that seems about right. If you're not allowed to, that seems like a pretty self-explanatory one. One person said, "Company B, if you're going to lay off people, treat them like crap. Really have no problem continuing to shop on Amazon. Prices are better anyway." All right, damn, that's some spice right there. Jesus. What else do people say? One of the most popular comments was by another person, we'll call her M. So M said, "What I liked was my job. I liked being able to pay my bills and take great care of my pets. I believe you as a company would care all about your employees. I was wrong. Instead, you made us work with no PPE and then permanently laid people off like me and told me to reapply in the future, and good luck. Less than a month after being laid off, I'm now seeing new hiring posts for their company. How about you call back the people you laid off?" Okay. Whoa.
Yeah, I don't. Where are these screenshots? I'm only seeing like some of them.
So I'm on the
But
person who's with an M. Are you not seeing it? Okay.
no. But
let me send
about
you this
that,
post.
I think they're probably talking about like the Indeed posts and stuff like that.
Yeah,
For
so
just so everyone knows, that's always there.
That's always there.
There,
And
yeah.
there is such thing as seasonal hirings.
Mhm.
So that's kind of automatic. It's like a system. I've had plenty of calls, like no one's hiring right now. They're not.
No.
And a lot of companies are forced to rehire the people they laid off because that's just what you should do. Right?
Mhm.
So they're not taking in new hires. And so, sorry guys, I know grocery stores are, I know liquor stores are.
Yeah.
Your local pet store is not going to be
No.
hiring.
No.
Yeah, that's, so I understand that frustration with it, but that's how it works.
Yeah.
Someone said, same exact scenario for me. They feed you all this nonsense about how they'll help and displace employees during training, and then when they do, they dispose of you. Corporate greed at its finest. There's a lot of spite and a lot of hate for, I'm not getting a lot of, if the comments were a lot longer, more, detailed, I think I'd be able to understand a little bit more of their situation and be able to empathize.
Yeah, but I get it. Everyone's been laid off. They're all
Yeah, it
angry,
sucks.
and
It sucks.
this needs somewhere to complain. I get it. I get being angry. And I think I found all the stuff.
One thing I will say about the previous comment though is that they're making you work with no PPE.
Yeah,
that's fucked up.
Very shocking.
Like new PPE, sure,
like,
specifically to that, but if you're actually no, regardless of your pet store, most pet stores are allowed some form of animal in there, and they usually sell one animal or multiple animals. So you have dogs coming in that pee on the floor. They have chemicals for that.
yeah.
So they have cleaning supplies. If everybody in any industry should have cleaning supplies ready and available. I understand if you guys ran out and there's only so much that they could do, and they did the best they can do. They'll come back in, I don't know, like 3 days. They're gonna get another shipment of gloves and masks and all this stuff. That I get, but to work with to force them to work with no PPE, I don't think anybody's forcing anybody to work.
Mm-hmm.
No, like it's, I think everybody's been offered to, hey, if you don't want to work, you feel unsafe or at that, you do not have to work.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Okay, so these are, so basically this is a lot of mad people, and as much as we can sympathize because it is frustrating with that, please try to understand other people's situations too. Like if you're not sure, don't be angry at your boss, your ex-boss, about what happened, because maybe you don't know much about the situation and
Yeah, I
that there's
hate like
details that would completely change your point of view.
yeah, like maybe like be angry at the company like in general or like the corporate instead of like individual people like your store leader.
Yeah,
Um,
especially like that.
yeah.
Okay, so this was a lot of heat. We can bring down the heat a little bit. We can talk about our own experiences a bit.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about what we've kind of experienced here. So, um, I got laid off from PetSmart with, I guess, the offer of rehire. I don't know. I don't really understand like the specifics. And I am continuing to work regularly at my other job, which is at a vet clinic. And Locke, you're still working at the pet store, right?
Yeah, I'm still working. I'm also cross-trained. I've been working there for 4 years, so I am pretty high on the priority list. But as much as like we're still struggling though, so I'm not the lucky one. And I thought because I'm keeping my job because of security, right? So because right now we have unfortunately unknown circumstances of what's going to happen with how many hours we're going to be able to have for all the employees, right? So we're not getting as much money, but I'm not going to apply for unemployment when next week maybe I'm going to have like 36 plus hours or something, right?
Mhm.
So there's job security there. Everybody's been super nice and like understanding. My store leader's been amazing about it. My other managers are just as confused and lost, but they're
Mhm.
there to, if you have a question, they will look into it because they're like, hey, you know what? There was an update this morning. I'll look again.
Mhm.
It's midday. I'll look again just for you because it's you asking the question. Not only am I going to help you, but I will know for the rest of the people too.
Yeah.
Um,
Huh.
they've been very informative of, hey, like you're on furlough or you're laid off, but your chance of being rehired is this at least. So you know
Mhm.
that like, hey, when this is all over, you might not get rehired. I would look into A, B, and C. They did mention what is available out there for what to do with unemployment, like how to get some type of income. They have said that they can't be on the phone with you for an hour discussing how everything's gonna go down. We've been, I think the staff that were laid off have been pretty okay with. There's a few people a little bit more confused as to why specifically them regarding either
Mhm.
loyalty or whether or not they were cross trained or they thought they were high priority and they weren't.
Mhm.
I can't speak for what the situation is as to why they were laid off. Um, but what I was told was there's kind of like a point system to it if you
Mhm.
want to think about it like that. I don't know if I'm just trying to
Yeah.
make it make sense to people listening. If you were here for this many years, had trained in not two, but maybe like three, four departments, let's say
Mhm.
you're not a manager, right? You're not a manager.
Yeah.
You've been doing all of that and you're highly reliable. Um, Not only that, like maybe you're a cashier that's new, but you have a bunch of points earned because you're easy to work with. You have open availability, you don't cause issues, follow policy, you do things well, like that gets you higher points and they kind of go on that regard too. So it's
Mhm.
not just targeting people of just like, well,
Mhm.
fuck you, you're gone. No,
Yeah.
it's they take everything into account. There is reasonings for it. If you were there for 8 years and there you didn't necessarily cause so many issues, but we know you're a drama queen that starts shit within the thing, they probably won't rehire you, and that's not because of like targeting, right? That's because you're an ass, and they just no, it's time for you to go anyway. Might as well just do it now.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. So I've had a very pleasant experience with my company and my team
Mm.
in regards
Yeah,
to
that's
that.
good. That's good. Okay.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot to
No, no.
unpack.
Yeah, so like in your experience, like people like who've worked there longer get more priority over people who've worked there shorter.
Yeah, no, they take that into,
deal.
well, if you worked there
Yeah.
for a long time, if you have like proper management with that, you're not staying there for 6 years if you're a bad worker,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
if you're there, and if you're there for 6 years, you're usually cross-trained in some way. They're not going to let you
Hmm.
just be the best cashier. Like if you're the best cashier, you're probably good in other departments because it makes you a good cashier, is your good customer service. You know where things are.
Hmm.
You've done stock, right? That like they kind of throw people everywhere just so that they do. Your staff is more reliable. It's a smart move to do as management.
Hmm. Yeah, so I guess to go on to my experience, there's not really too much to tell because this was not really my main job. As of lately, I've been working more at the vet clinic, but a basic rundown. I've been with the company, I think like 3 years and a bit. I'm cross-trained in every department, so pretty good standing. And then I I only, this is why it's not really surprising to me because I was only working one shift a week. So that kind of like I can't, that's obviously why I was chosen to be laid off because my availability was so limited. So I can't really like question it at all because I think that's probably obviously why. But yeah, like I was satisfied with like the communication with my manager. That's not to say maybe I would have felt different if this was my main job. I probably would have if this was my main job and I was laid off. But because it's not my main job, and my manager acknowledged that, she called me personally, which is very nice. My store leader, she called me and she said she's very sorry and everything like that. She said they would be willing to rehire,
That's
and
good.
they'll
That's
call
good.
me back. They'll get back in contact or whatever when the store is open again. So yeah, like my experience, there wasn't really too much to report. It was overall like I mean, not great, obviously, but it was handled, I feel, in the best way they could have. She did mention applying to CERB, applying for the financial assistance and everything like that. But she's like, I understand you have another job. I don't know, but that option is there. And I did apply because I was losing a portion of my income that I
Yeah.
was making at PetSmart. Because I had been there for 3 years, so I was making significantly more than, not like super significantly, I was making more than minimum wage. Um, so I did apply, and I'm actually like here. I know it's not the same for everyone here in Canada, but I got the money immediately. How I think we covered how Canada works. They give you like 2,000 straight up, and then they'll kind of take away if that was too much, and you have to fill out income reports every week. So I got the money. It was kind of difficult getting in contact. Like I said, like all the customer service lines are like just a dial tone. They're like all busy or overloaded or whatever.
Mhm.
But overall, like just going through the process online was fairly easy to do. And the money came like right away, which was good because they, people need the money right away to be able to live. So having that acknowledgement, I guess, was good. So overall, it's been an okay experience, I guess. We're all
Okay.
just
Yeah. No
doing what
ruffled
we
feathers.
can. Yeah, no, nothing. And I was going to mention my department manager put like a really good note in the group chat for my department. Is very, very nice. He says, he's just like, I'm here for every one of you during this time. Um, if you're sticking this out until we can have you back, hang in there. We understand if you can't wait, need to find something else right now. Please use me as a reference. Let me know if you need my contact details.
That's
So that was
awesome.
super nice. I really like that kind of support, especially how he acknowledged like what people might do and kind of offered help in that way. Like he's willing to be used as a reference, which I think was a really great way to handle it. Um,
That's going above and beyond to be like, hey,
mhm.
use me as a reference. That's a step even over a nice post to everybody. That's a
Yeah,
step
I know,
over
because
the I
that's
love.
actually offering like help and
Yeah, that
help. It's not just
is.
like, oh, I'm so sorry or whatever. Like you're actually offering like a kind of help or support in a way instead of just saying words that don't
Exactly. Yeah.
really help people live or make money to eat food.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
So
yeah, so that
guys,
was a lot. That was a
this is a
wild
huge
ride.
topic.
I know that was okay. For our second episode of Quarantine Quandaries, I think it was pretty good. There were highs, there were lows,
There's some fire.
a lot of information. So I guess should we be wrapping up soon?
I think we covered
Yeah.
everything. If you guys still have some stories to send to
Yeah. If there's anything at all you want to send us, I guess we'll do like
the link is, regardless if it was a really detailed email about even a shittier situation, we're curious. Send it in. If you had an amazing situation, we're curious. Send it in.
Yeah, send in like other stuff. Like, right, we are gonna, I guess, maybe do a couple more COVID episodes. So send in anything related to the current pandemic, or if there's just anything relating to the animal industry, culture, and politics you want to send in, go ahead. And I guess a shout out to the one person in our live last night. I can't remember your name, but you said it was cool. I had animals behind me, and I was like, oh shit, where'd they come from? Yeah, I can't remember your name. I think it was Neon something, but
yeah, well, you got lots of animals right there. Are
Yeah,
most
I
of your animals
do.
in your room?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I basically just live in my bedroom. So yeah, that's where they all are. A lot of lizards.
All right, yeah. So stay
All
stay
right.
tuned for the second episode, okay?
Well, this is the second.
Oh, sorry, no,
The
the third
third. The
episode.
third
We're on our third
episode.
episode
Yes.
already.
What did we have the subject for it yet, or is that to be
right now
announced?
we are going to be doing for our next episode.
I thought I saw it there in the notes, but I am
Yeah,
not one hundo.
Let me do a quick look.
Yeah.
So our next episode we are going to be covering how to be productive during quarantine, and then some grooming essential tips, and then what to do with your grooming while you're in quarantine. This is a big topic. I really want you to watch. If anything, I want you to watch this. This is covering animal health.
Yeah, the pet grooming topic, whether it should be essential or not. That's kind of like a big debate in the community, the industry right now, with everything that's going on. So yeah, and we're also, I guess, going to share some tips of how to take care of your pets during the pandemic, like some things you can do now that you're at home more for them. We'll be sharing some things we've been doing for our pets, like, bonding skinny pigs and guinea pigs, or building clay lizard couches that you can see behind me there. If you're watching. But yeah, so that's what we'll be getting into in the next episode. So thank you for listening, everyone. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
We've had a good first 2 episodes, I think.
I think so. This is going great. I hope you guys stick around. We got more shit to cover.
All right. Yeah. Okay, guys. So
all right, we'll end it here, though.
Sign out. Yeah.